Shalom, first and foremost, I want to give up praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rucha, HaKadosh, and them underside apostles and elders that great Muslims who taught us the truth. Well, shalom to you, Akim, that puts the word across the four corners of this globe with all truth and sincerity. Bahasham, Rucha, HaKadosh. And pretty much, let's going to get in a quick topic, upon, what just came out. Like you just read in the first slide, world's first AI brain chip enables paralyzed Chinese man to walk again. This ain't nothing new. I'm saying, we're beginning to see, more and more, Esau trying to, make this like a like a norm type of thing. Push more and more information upon this. Comes out to be, to get the people's emotions to think how convenient this is, how amazing this is. To try to put it in a wonderful light. This man has a AI brain chip enabled. He may have been paralyzed. He's paralyzed. And now he's able to walk again. But I figure I'll get that in Revelation. It's nothing. It's no difference than what it is to Neuralink. With Elon Musk. But us in the know, man. We understand this is according to the 13th chapter of Revelation. This is I'll start at verse. Slovakia. Okay, I'll start at verse. Start at verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. It's dealing with America. You know what I'm saying? With the beast coming out with two horns like a lamb. Babylon the Great and the two horns to signify the two separate parties, which are no different to ancient Rome. I forgot it was pretty much in today's day and time, the Democrat and the Republicans, those represents the two horns. And he spake like a dragon, speaking like a dragon. The dragon is dealing with ancient Rome. America, it's no secret, how certain things ties, within America, certain things, almost everything goes back to ancient Rome. Let's start with the time, the Gregorian calendar, and as well as, things that the Romans do, the Colosseums, and the very type of rulership ancient Rome had was exactly like, like the Democrats and the Republicans. I believe it was the plebeians, if I'm not mistaken, Slovakia. I may be wrong. And I forgot the other party. But Rome's rulership was just like that, you're saying, you had to vote and shit. But, and many more, man. You know what I'm saying? the coins on the faces. I mean, like the faces on the coins. You know what I'm saying? You know, that goes back to Rome, man. You know what I'm saying, the presidents on those quarters and dimes, pennies, nickels, and all that. You know, well, you had faces of many Caesars on the you know what I'm saying, the gold coins in Rome. You know what I'm saying, the silver coins in Rome. You know, speaking like a dragon, man. You know, this is that beast. You know, this is revived Rome. You know, like Elias Rama, you know what I'm saying, would say, this is that revived Rome. You know what I'm saying, speaking like a dragon, man. You know, it's coming in its stead. It's like in its stead, if I should say. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. You know what I'm saying, through the Renaissance period. Because for a certain period of time, the Dark Ages, Jake was, ruling Esau, man. And then, once the Dark Ages, came about to end, you know what I'm saying, then came in the Renaissance, which means the rebirth. And Esau, the first thing he did was, he rewrote history. He whitewashed history. He started taking off the noses off the statues. Jake statues. Smitten off noses. He rewrote history. Caesar Borgia. To the point to where he even rewrote. He re-imaged. You know what I'm saying? The image of the Lord to be in. And that's a custom that the heathen always do. Edomites do, man. When they get in power. And then you could also learn about that in the Maccabees. I believe in the first Maccabees. When the Grecians would overcome Jake. I'm saying they would paint the images like them. The true images of the judges, they would repaint them to be like themselves. I'm saying, just completely, taint the image, man. And a word for that is called iconoclasm. I'm saying, you can go look that up on your own time. But reading on, this is verse 12, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and he causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. That's dealing with the Second World War. With the the very first time that America dropped atomic bombs, and that shocked the whole world because that's never been done. You know what I'm saying? That's known in the scriptures as a miracle that this that this devil done. America done. To just drop two devastating type of destruction weapons, in broad daylight upon a country just like that, just to see, for the just to test it, and that was a great wonder. The whole world was like, what the fuck, that showed the great power, of America. I'm saying, with like what they had, so that he make a fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. The whole earth was in awe because of that, man. Like they show you in that movie, Oppenheimer, which is a good movie, man. You know what I'm saying? And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast yeah, man, you know, yeah, man, the whole world's deceived right now, man. The whole world is deceiving, you know what I'm saying, thinking that, that Jesus is Lord, God is Lord. He look like fucking Esau and shit. You got you know what I'm saying, this fucking devil got you believing that there's just fucking 6 billion, that the earth is billions and billions of years old. No, man. The earth is fairly young, man. It's only like a couple thousand years old. Because mind you, it took about what, like 7,000 years to create the planet. You know what I'm saying? So, with the angels and, you know what I'm saying, Yahweh Shai. But we'll keep moving on. Yeah, kind of see with them. Yeah, man, got the whole world thinking, that humans fucking, came from monkeys and shit, just deceiving the whole world, man. Just straight up deceiving the whole world, man. Deceiving you morally, spiritually, and physically, mentally. You know what I'm saying? The world is just backwards, man. You got men with men, women with women, men changing their kind, women changing their kind. You know what I'm saying? People sleeping with beasts, people sleeping with, trees and whatnot, You can do this, you can do that, you can do all type of wickedness, whatever, religion, confusion, man. Nothing but confusion is upon the face of the earth because it's all because of this devil, man. It's all because of Esau, man. Esau, Edom. He's the one that fought, you know what I'm saying, behind all this. He deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Deceiving the whole world, deceiving the whole earth, man. Through false flags also. Order out of chaos. Deceiving, you know what I'm saying? His fucking propagandas. His false media. Predictive programming. Well, that's not deceiving, but it's more like that's the way how he tells his truths. You know what I'm saying? In plain sight. But because of you being so deceived to think that he would never do such a thing, yes, man. Just, you know what I'm saying? He got you. That's how he got you, man. Like that saying, the fucking devil's greatest trick is to believing that he don't exist. It's exactly that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you wouldn't think that, you know what I'm saying, that this so-called beloved government would ever do such a thing. Well, they're doing it, man. In broad daylight, and if you're still asleep, you far gone, man. If you're still asleep now, if you still believe in the American dream now, after all that's been exposed, you farther than through, man. Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, and which is going to do, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And one major way is in this next couple of verses. You know what I'm saying? How America's gonna spearhead the world. You know what I'm saying, to make it, an image into the beast. You know what I'm saying, for you to, make a covenant with it, man. And it's by, taking this device in your hand or in your forehead. Verse 15, he had power to give life into the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. He calls it all, both small and great. You know what I'm saying, is the point, man. Both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hands or in their foreheads. For this specific topic, we're going to focus on the forehead part. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 603 score and 6. Just doing with the barcodes, everything that you own, anything that you own, device or whatever, fabric, anything that's made to be bought, that was bought with, it has a barcode on it. A universal barcode. And it equals to 666. You saying, that you are, branded by Esau. By you taking this thing. But for the sake of this topic, for the sake of this video, we're gonna focus on the forehead. Cause we just see right now it's being brought in the light of convenience, miracles, like we just read. The verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many who would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. See, very soon it's going to be made mandatory. See, right now it's cute and, oohs and ahs, but very soon it's going to be made mandatory, for you to take this thing, man. And this is going to be the only way to function in the near society to come. If you want, and it's Great Reset that they call it. This NWO. If you want to function throughout society again, you're going to take this device under your skin. Under your hand. Your right hand, left hand, butt cheek, whatever, man. It's gonna carry all your credentials, your bank account, your money, and they're gonna give you, a certain amount of money. If you want to continue, to be a slave to the society. And, Esau's going to accumulate great fear, great, great fear and, great pressure. And majority of the world is going to fold because, how they going to eat, how they going to feed their families, if they don't want to get their head chopped off, like I said, and caused that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he caused it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. It's going to be a norm, man. It's going to be, the new thing, the mandatory thing to do. If you don't got this, you're going to be offed. This is prophecy. This is what's coming, man. This is what's on its way. It's here. You see it, man. It's here. You already got people scanning their hands and shit with the C-hip. Sweden's already up and running. That's why you ain't heard no type of madness coming out of Sweden because Sweden's already up and running, man. People are, scanning their heads, get into their cars, scan their hand to, to access their Teslas, their doors, windows, locks and shit. Buying groceries, scanning their fucking hand at the fucking, at the teller or whatever, at the cashier. And man, this is prophecy, man. The judgment, for taking this, man. If you take this, man, then that means that your name was not written. It's found written in the book of life, man. And you gon', take this C-hip. You're gonna suffer that second death. The missiles. You're gonna be in that lake of fire, man. It says in the 15th chapter, where John looked down, he saw a sea of glass mingled with fire, man. He's up on the ozone layer. Because it looks like a sea. You're standing over, the earth. You're looking down. It looks like a sea of glass. You're standing over the ozone layer, a sea of glass mingled with fire. You look down at the mingle with fire part. That's, I'm saying, you seeing the continent of America being pelted with ICB and nuclear missiles, man. Mangled with fire. You know? See, this is where you want to be at, man. God, the victory over this beast, over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name. This is where you want to be at, man. You know, overcoming all of this, man. You know what I'm saying? Which Lord willing, Yahweh should be outside, you know, keep us all the way into the end, man. You know, so that we be found with him, man. You know, so that we be found those numbers, you know, those numbers to overcome. You know, over this devil's mark and over his image, you know, over his pressure, you know, his influence of trying to get you to, you know what I'm saying, to bend the knee. You know? What did it say? In Daniel 7, that they overcame. It's lucky. You know, so I guess it's in Revelation. It's in Revelation chapter 12. John, this is the 12th chapter. Verse 11, and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death, man. You know? That's the elect, man. You know what I'm saying? They you know, they on earth suffering, man. Patiently waiting, hastening the day upon Yahweh Shai, man. Unlike certain guys, you know what I'm saying, they having parties at the Passover, good old times that, you know, every year it's a jolly time at the Passover, burgers and fringes and shit. You know, strip clubs, fucking, you know, strip club and the Passover night and shit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas living lavishly rich, pockets fat, pockets full, you know, off the, you know what I'm saying, the truth, man. You know, let alone, you know, the average Jake out here, you know, celebrity Jake, whatever. You know, they ain't Jake love their life, man. Out here, man. Jake ain't worried about no affliction, man. You know, it's cool though, man. You know, cause what the Lord say, you know, 2 Ezra chapter 9. You know, the day of which, you know, have received benefits and have not known me. You know, the same gonna know it after death by pain. See, a lot of Jakes gonna receive serious judgment, man. It's gonna be, you know what I'm saying, starting upon the house. You know, his circle, man. You know, the sanctuary. You know, those that's calling themselves Israelites, man. It's gonna be starting upon, you know, those that's calling themselves Israelites, and it's gonna go all the way up to the average Jake that don't know nothing, man. You know. But hey, man, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much the main points I want to get for this lesson. I'll try to leave a link to the article in the description box. So I pray and hope that your brothers and sisters find satisfying. Until next time I see you. So.